Hi, I'm Sabrina. This is my channel, and I guess you're gonna come along on this gardening journey with me, gardening in my backyard for the first time. It's a rainy day today, and there's not really that much I can do. I was able to pull up some weeds in the backyard. That was nice. It was really good. It's all cleared out now, other than, you know, some tilling that needs to be done, and obviously soil amending and all of that, but we'll get to that when we get there. But what the plan is for right now, seeds. I have a lot growing already, but what I really need to do is put some more in, because now that I pulled up a rug there earlier today with a friend of mine, it is too much space and not enough seeds that I planted. So now we're gonna plant a lot of fun stuff. I have like a bunch of stuff over here. Let's see, what do I got? A lot of Baker Creek stuff. I don't know if you've heard of Baker Creek. If you have not, it's a really good website. They have a lot of good seed varieties. A lot of stuff you wouldn't find in the grocery stores, to be honest. Not like the typical red tomatoes, you know, they have them there, but you'll find some pretty cool stuff. One variety that I'm growing is a blueberries tomato, and I'll insert a photo here. But blueberries tomato, what is really cool about that is that it has so much anthocyanins in it. So whenever the sun hits the skin of the tomato, it turns really vibrant, deep, rich purple, almost black, depending on how much sun it gets. And I don't think I've ever seen one of those at a grocery store. Maybe at a farmer's market, but it would have to be from a specific grower. But yeah, so we're gonna be planting a lot of fun stuff, you know, beans, flowers, kales. I'm very excited about these since it's still cold, and kale's a heat tolerant variety. We might get lucky and I could actually harvest some of it. It's California, Los Angeles. It gets really, really hot kind of out of nowhere here, but it seems like a wet year. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it works. Since it is raining and it's pretty muddy, oh, actually the sun just came out. That's nice. I'm just gonna be doing some gardening on this little porch area that I have. Don't really have much space. I could be doing it over there, but I'd rather not right now. So basically what you need for this kind of stuff is you can get something like this, which is a seeding tray, and it's basically just a bunch of little tiny pots, you know, big enough to hold seedlings. You can transplant them and move them to a bigger pot later. Depends on how big the seed is. So yeah, like pretty cheap, $2.49 that I got this one for. It's not the best quality, but it'll do, especially on a budget, because I cannot be spending, you know, 10 plus bucks on fancy seed trays. Same with these. They were cheap. I think I got about 8 of them, I believe, for $1. And you know, they're flimsy, they're not gonna last for years, but they're good for now. And you're gonna also need potting mix. Potting mix is super important. I prefer organic stuff if I can find it. They do have seed starting mixes that you can find at like Home Depot, Lowe's, all of that. Those work too. If anything, they might be a little better. But this is what we got. It's cheap, it works, and you know, plants want to grow, so they're gonna grow no matter what quality of soil you have. So these are the basics really, and obviously water. You need water. So I'll show you right now. I'm going to fill some of these pots up and I'll give you a look at that when it's done. So quick tip, just real quick, I realized this as I was filling these pots up. Some people may not know, when you fill a pot up, you know, you can fill it up, but you got to think about the fact that once you start watering it consistently, it's going to condense itself down and kind of pack itself. So yeah, you can leave the soil nice and fluffy. What I like to do is lightly pat it in, just a little bit more, or else, you know, when you water it in, it's going to do it itself, and then you can kind of realize that, oh well, it's not as full as I could get it. So we could do, pat it down, add a little bit more on top, just to get the most soil you can have in there for that new little seedling, so they have as much room to grow as possible. So just a little tip, it's good to do that for all of your pots. That's what I did with these. That's why they're pretty firm. Not too firm. Obviously, you don't want to like forcefully press it down, and then that's just too compact. the roots won't be able to grow through thick, dense soil that way. So just a nice light pat, just a quick little push down should be enough. Okay, so I got these potting trays filled out, and right now I have some zinnia seeds in my hand. As you can see, this is what they look like. They're about a medium-sized seed, I'd say, a little bit on the larger side. And with seeds, the way you want to do it when you plant them is based off the size of the seed. You want to plant it just about that deep. So this is a bigger seed, so I'd probably plant it like, what is that, maybe a 1/4 inch? I'm not that good with depth, but about that big. So here, I'll show you. Just be careful with this. So we go in, obviously clear up some space. These are really tiny pots, so it's kind of difficult, but I'm working with what I got. And you know, also one-handed isn't really the most ideal for seed starting, but there we go. Kind of try to spread the seeds out a little bit more. If I had more space, I'd make it more even, right? So, you know, just about as big as the seeds are is how deep you want to go. Cover them up, and there we go. We planted some zinnias. I have another variety of this. That's the candy cane variety, and it's stunning. I'm very excited about those. I planted them already. But yeah, I'm gonna try to fill up this whole tray. I have way too many seeds to plant. Some of them that I've saved myself. Also, don't mind the muddy shoes. They're there. And I'll show you when it's done. I might show you some of the varieties that may require like more specification on how to grow them, but this is just kind of an overall rule that as big as they are is about as deep as you plant them. So if they're smaller, you plant them shallower. If they're bigger, you plant them deeper. So I also wanted to show you guys something interesting. A lot of seed packets kind of have a description of what works best for the plant type. So this one's lavender. I've had sprouts grow, but you know, never successfully grown the plant. And as you can see, it says that it sprouts in 14 to 21 days. That's kind of a long time. It's almost a month. So you have to be really patient with this variety. The ideal temp is 70 to 75. Most of the time that means for germination. Sometimes they can also mean it for the plant itself. Usually it's for germination, and germination just means when the seed comes out of its little casing and sprouts. Seed depth, surface sow. So what that means is that we're going to try to just leave the seeds on the surface. That probably means that they need some light to germinate, and if you put them any deeper, you're going to risk just not having any plants come up. Plant spacing, this is 12 inches to 20 inches. So clearly that means about a foot, over a foot in between each plant once they are big enough to transplant out into whatever space you want to put them in. It's different for container plants. You'd probably want even more space in a container because the roots won't have that much space to grow in. This usually, whenever they talk about plant spacing, means in ground unless they specify somewhere else on the packaging about container planting. Frost hardy, yes. That means that this plant does well in really cold weather where there's frost. I don't really have to worry about that because one, spring going into summer here, and I'm in Los Angeles. We don't really get frost. You should check online to see what times you have your last frost date in your area and also what zone you're in. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what zone I am in currently. I believe it's zone 9. And usually that means we don't get that many frosts, if any. Very rare. And if there are any, they're very light and short. But yeah, look it up, see what you got. And minimum full sun, 6 to 12 hours. This plant needs a lot of sun, so you want to put it in a place that doesn't get too shaded in your garden. And if you're doing it in a container, consider that if the container is in a shady spot, just move it over somewhere else where they get more sun. And yeah, they'll give you planting instructions, details about what the plant is. Perennial just means that this plant is there every year. So I'm pretty sure that's right. If I'm wrong, I'll put something up on the screen correcting that, but I'm pretty sure that means it comes every year and will stay in your garden for a while. An annual is more like it'll be there for the year that it's planted in, die off, and then you replant it again the following year. But yeah, I also wanted to show these real quick. So these are some seeds that I saved myself from a delicata squash that I had, and I loved it so much that I absolutely had to save the seeds. So what I did was I let the delicata squash kind of sit on the counter for a little while and kind of mature, I guess. And then I took the seeds out, scooped them out, dried them off as best that I could, and give them a quick wash, spread them out, let them dry. And then I had all of these saved seeds. And obviously, I don't know if that plant was fully mature enough. So not all of these seeds have germinated for me, but a good amount of them have. And this was just some organic squash I got from the store. So if there's ever something that you want to grow and you don't want to have to pay for it necessarily, like buying another seed packet of it, dude, I've got hundreds of seeds. I mean, maybe not hundreds, but definitely over 100 seeds here from one squash. Just look up how to save the seeds for something like a tomato, whatever other vegetable you have, and see if you can save the seeds of it. It's cheaper this way, and it's pretty cool to learn how to save them. Also, if you're ever curious about how small seeds can get, when you get a look at peppermint seeds, oh, there's a car. I'm in an urban area, it's not that quiet. But, so, see this? Peppermint seeds, right? You never maybe have ever seen a peppermint seed in your life. They're that small. Look at that. That's so tiny. Some of the smallest seeds that I have. That's kind of why peppermint seeds are really invasive, which means that they spread really easy and they could kind of take over a garden really fast, is because the seeds are so freaking tiny. You can't really stop the spread of seeds, so it's always good to put these in a container if you don't want it to take over your garden. Maybe you do, but if you don't want to, put them in a container. Please, for the love of God, they will spread everywhere. This variety I'm super excited about. So it's the Evergreen Scallion from Hudson Valley Seed Company, which is also a good website. Check them out. They have great stuff and beautiful art on their seed packages. But this one I'm excited about because, you know, green onions, they're delicious. And these green onions, what I want to do is plant them actually kind of heavily in here, because onion roots, for the most part, are very, very durable, would be a good way to put it. So you can rip them up, tear them up, plant them close together, shred up the transplants, they will still grow. And green onions kind of like to be planted in bunches anyways, so bunches of like six of them planted in each little space is perfect for these. So what I'm planning on doing is doing just that. So I'll show you right now just how densely I like to pack it. So I got about a good, honestly, probably a little over 100 seeds in my hand right now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sprinkle them all up in there. Really, really dense. I'll spread it out a little bit more right now. Just, you know, one hand is not that easy. Just kind of evenly spread them out and cover them right up. It's gonna grow a lot of onions, and it'll be nice because I'm kind of picturing this nice row in my backyard that I'm gonna have them in, so I'm just gonna stick bunches of them just like that. Perfect. So not everybody likes to do it this way, but I do. I love planting just a bunch in one container. It works really, really well, and these plants are so durable, so don't worry about messing them up, because you won't. They're very, oop, gosh, they're very easy to grow. Oh no. I fixed it. We're good. Some might be buried a little deeper than they should be, but whoops, you know, mistakes happen. Like I said, seeds will grow, so most likely you're still gonna have some seeds coming up, and they're gonna do just fine. Maybe not the full handful I chucked in there, but if not, I can always reseed it again. It'll be fine. So here's me putting some water on these plants, watering them in. You know, fuzzy socks, slippers, best combo on a rainy day. And yeah, you just gotta water them in. You don't want them completely soaked. You don't want to have it dripping. You know, you just want it wet enough so that it has enough water to germinate and they grow healthy, strong seedlings. And I just did a voiceover for this part because my neighbors were outside chilling, watching me, and I was really uncomfortable and I didn't want to talk when they were outside. So now you get a voiceover. And there you have it. There's all the seedlings watered, ready to go, and a quick little update on the other seedlings and containers that I had going already. Very excited! Alright, well, that's it. We planted the seeds, and I will show you whenever they do pop up. And thanks for, planting with me. Maybe you planted something too. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye!